Hi, Debbie Lichter here with Free from Food Addiction and the Congruence Code. Okay, so today we are getting up close and personal talking about shame and how to get free from shame. So I remember, shame has been something that has followed me my whole life. I remember the first time feeling ashamed in preschool, actually. I was like 3 years old. And I remember I had showed up that day. It was the first time that I had dressed myself, and I was so proud of myself, and I was walking around and I was feeling all proud. And then my teacher told me that I put my dress on backwards, and I was mortified. I didn't know at the time that was shame, but looking back at it, I can see that feeling, that discomfort, that embarrassment, that was the beginning of my shame career. So I know that you probably have your own shame career too, and this is why I love the Congruence Collective Facebook group, because the Congruence Collective Facebook group is all about living authentically, living free, living authentically, shining your light. And this is the kind of stuff that we can talk about. We can both embrace how well things are going for us and all of the things that we're inspired to do. And we can also hold space for, and there's this like shame story that is happening. So if you haven't already become part of that community, please join us. You can go over to liveyourlight.today. I will leave a link below, but just head to liveyourlight.today and join the conversation. And let's really look here at what you can walk away with today to support you around getting free from shame. Because shame is, there's this gentleman by the name of David Hawkins. He created the scale of consciousness where he took different emotions and he put them all on a scale of frequency, and the frequency that each one of these emotions was vibrating at determined where it falls on the scale. So like, for example, joy, peace, source energy is like way up there. Source energy is the top. And then I think you get enlightenment and then peace and then joy. It's like all right up there, right? Well, at the very bottom, you have death. And then one up from that is shame. It is such a low vibration. And that's really where it brings us, right? It brings us to that low place. And what I want to support you with today is how to get free from that feeling, that even if there's parts of you that are feeling really joyful, feeling really grateful, having lots of love in your life, if you have those little pockets of shame, they are bringing down your whole vibration, and they are really keeping you and holding you back. And I want to support you in moving past whatever is holding you back so that you can go on and shine your light and help all the people you're here to help, because then we all win, right? Then the world becomes a better place. So let's dive in. So here's the thing. The very nature of shame makes you want to run and hide. I have stories upon stories, I'm sure you do, but that experience when your face turns completely red, and whether it's public humiliation, whether you just feel ashamed by a family member or by a friend group, I like all the above right here. That all you want to do is run and hide and not show your face and, just like never be seen again, right? And so what we need to do is we need to actually have a shift in our approach. We need to do what's counter, I don't even want to say what's counterintuitive, but what's counter-comfortable, because it's definitely just uncomfortable what I'm about to invite you to do. But what we want to do is we want to get really intimate with shame. Now you might say, Deb, you just said how to get free from it, and now you're talking about how to get intimate with it. I know, it sounds kind of crazy, but instead of checking out, which is what we always do, we want to hide, we want to stuff it, we want to ignore it, we want to distract from it, we want to pile on all these other things like anxiety and overwhelm and obsession and all this other stuff to do so that we don't have to deal with what's underneath. And so the way to actually get on that path of freedom is to turn straight for it, is to lean in and to get intimate with the shame. So I've got 3 keys for you with how to get more intimate with the shame. And these are things that I have done, that I do, that support me, that help me, because like if you consider shame being a frequency that we can tune into, like a radio frequency, right? So it's always there, but we sometimes tune into it and then we don't have to tune into it. We can tune into something else, but it's always there. And so there's tools that we want to continue to use. It's not like, oh, great, that one time that I got rid of all my shame and never looked back. I haven't really met one person that just kind of like gets rid of all their shame and never looks back. If you are that person, then message me, because I want to meet you and interview you, by the way. So let me help you with what has really worked in my life, and hopefully it can work in yours too. Okay, so number one thing, the number one key here is to get real with what you're feeling, is to feel the shame fully. To feel it fully. Before you can get free from it, you actually got to go so deep, you have to let it consume you. You had to let it engulf you. And so when I'm doing that, when I'm guiding others through how to do that, it's like going so deep into the emotion, going so deep into the feeling, and make sure you don't stay in the thinking about it. Don't stay in the analysis of it, but so go super, super deep into the feeling of it. Very, very different. And let yourself be consumed by the fear. By the shame. It's such a powerful, powerful thing to do. Again, this is something that is oftentimes really supportive to have someone guide you through, so you don't kind of get lost in it and stuck in it. But if you trust that you can go into it and you can immerse yourself in it, here's what's really, really amazing about going so deep into the embodied experience of the emotions, is that emotions want to be in motion. They want to move through. And so if you let yourself go deep into it, if you let yourself fully feel it and be with it and be consumed by it and don't resist it, eventually it will start to move, it will start to transform. And so going deep into it, getting intimate with it in that way, allowing it to like finding it, tracking it in your body, all of that stuff is actually putting you on the path of freedom. Okay, so that's the first key. The second key that I want to share with you here today is to use shame as your muse. Use it as your muse. What do I mean by that? So first of all, I never considered myself a creative person until I actually recovered my creative self, which is a whole process that I love to support people through. If that is something that you want, by the way, message me, because if you want more, I know, see, that's something that my cat wants. If you want more joy, if you want to have more fun, if you want to get over your inner perfectionist, if you want to just be able to relax and take it easy and just feel more carefree, then you definitely, it would be awesome to just crack you open a little bit more in the space of creative expression. Maybe you already are creatively expressed, and maybe you're not. Maybe you don't identify with being creative at all, and maybe you do, but there's always a place where we can turn up the volume on that. So that's my little sidebar. But going back to this key, I let shame, like when I went through a big period of feeling shame, I used it as a muse. I wrote poetry with it. I really used it as like a raw material that I created with. And if you consider like life is a canvas, and whether you consider yourself creative or not, like we're always creating. And so I don't really, when someone says, oh, I'm not really creative, I'm like, you're creating right now in this moment. You're creating the story that you're not creative. So writing and writing a song or writing a poem or writing a journal entry or, painting, whatever that creative expression might be for you, it's a powerful, powerful way to take that raw material and move it into something that actually feels like it is supporting you in your process. And it's incredible how that stuff actually helps you to integrate and to come into a new experience of yourself. So that's number 2, is to use it as your muse. And P.S., by the way, if you don't consider yourself creative and you want to be more creative, then reach out to me. I will leave a link below. Reach out to me. Go to allofyou.today, set some time up with me, and let's crack you open there, because there is a world of joy and freedom and fun and lightness that is waiting for you if you want to be more creatively expressed. Okay, so that is number one and number two. Number three is to share your shame, to share the story, to share the whole thing. Because again, shame makes us want to isolate. It makes us want to, like hide our faces from the whole world. We make up a ton of stories about what the entire universe probably thinks about us. Well, maybe you don't, but I do. And so again, the way to get intimate with it, the way to get on that path of freedom is actually to speak up about it. There is something very, very clearing and powerful when we allow ourselves to take all of that emotion and move it through our throat chakra, move it through the throat here where things can get bottlenecked and stuffed, but instead we really let ourselves move it up and out. It's a really powerful way, again, to fully integrate it and to release it. And when you share your shame, this is what is so powerful, is that guaranteed you actually create more closeness and intimacy with others. It's so weird. But when we really let ourselves be seen in all of that awkwardness and all of that, oh my gosh, this is what happened and this is how I felt, and we touch that place inside of ourselves, it touches that place inside of the other person too. And they feel seen and heard and gotten and not judged, and like they can share with you too. It's so incredible. In fact, at the next Freedom Embodied Live event, which is happening in November, PS by the way, so if you want to come to that, I would love for you to come. I will leave a link below where you can get more information about that. But we're going to be doing all this stuff. We are going to be getting into, I'm really, really committed to you being more comfortable in your body, right? You living free from addictions and obsessions and self-sabotaging patterns. And a huge thing that gets in the way for folks is shame. And so we're going to be going through some exercises. I'm going to be guiding you through some practices that will help you to get free of shame there. So if that is all sounding exciting for you, definitely make sure to click the link below. freedomembodied.live. It will be my absolute honor and pleasure to meet you in person and to help you with all of this stuff, because at the end of the day, again, shame is one of those things that we all share, we can all relate to, and yet we don't have to live with. We don't have to continue to be held back by and hold on to our stories and define ourselves by it. We truly can be free, and I want to help you do that. So I hope that that was helpful for you today. It's such an honor to be here with you. Please continue the conversation with me. Hop onto the Congruence Collective Facebook group over at liveyourlight.today. Share with us your shame story if you're willing to share, to be seen, to be heard. I will get on there personally if you share, and I will respond to you because I want you to feel seen and heard there. And make sure that you get the details about the next Freedom Embodied live event happening in San Diego in November, because we are going to be moving through this stuff together as a group, as a collective, and it would be so awesome to have you there. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.